Hey broads, so before we start today's episode, we just wanted to share that we're going to be matching up to $2,000 in donations to Moms Demand Action.
Yeah, so you can find the link to our fundraiser on Instagram, and also please make sure to contact your senators to demand gun safety legislation. The easiest way that I've found to do that is to go to every town's website. They have a template. You just fill out your information. It's very simple and quick. Thank you, guys.
And welcome to another episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
So when we walked in this morning, your husband was in a full-blown leg brace.
You mean that he can't move? Like leg brace from like the top, like where his dick starts to his ankle?
And he told me this horrific story about how his kneecap was floating on the other side of his leg. Can you please update us all?
Broads, my heart for my husband, I can't, it's just been a whole thing. Let me tell you, this man, and I don't want to give like all the details because Lord knows he's going to talk about it on Chatty Bros. This has been his life for the past week. So I was at my mom's house because Evan was working.
What day was this? Monday? Tuesday?
This was Saturday.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Okay.
But I was at my mom's house because Evan was working. And the fact of the matter is, like, you know, I've talked about on the podcast in the past few months that like my bipolar, it's been a little all over the place. And I've been in like a very like low space. So Evan's been super supportive and just like checking in. He's been super busy. So he's just like regularly sending me messages like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
How's Ember? You know, all this stuff. And I get a message from him midway through the day on Saturday. And he's like, hey babe, how's it going? How's Ember? You know, how are you hanging in? Da, da, da. And I respond to that. And he's just like, oh, what did you guys do today? And I'm just casually talking to him.
Wait,
and
you're telling me he didn't call you right away and was like, babe, my kneecap is blown up.
No, this is it. There's nothing more Evan than this. There is nothing more Evan than this statement. If you want to like know into the psyche of my husband. So I then get a message from my dad.
No.
And my dad goes, how's Evan? Is he okay? And I messaged my dad back and I'm like, yeah, he's working. And I'm thinking, why is my dad asking? Is he wanting to like hang out with us this week? And I'm like, yeah, he's up in LA. He's working today. And then a few minutes later, my dad's like, okay, I'm just curious about like his knee or something. And I'm like, his knee? He's like, your stepmom told me that something happened to his knee. And I text Evan immediately and I'm like, did you text Julie at some point like weeks ago that your knee was bothering you? Did you not? And he's like, well, here's the thing. I'm in the emergency room.
Were you pissed?
I was pissed, but then because I'm like, why are you texting my stepmom? So this is Evan's. This is the way Evan thinks, and we're working on it. This is therapy because there's a part of it that's very sweet, but then there's another part that it's like, Evan, like you need to communicate with me,
right? Because he's like, I don't want to stress you out.
Yes,
I don't want to like add to your thing.
Yes. So he's in the ER. He's texting my stepmom because he's like, she like has worked with a lot of doctors and stuff. So he's like, do you know of any good surgeons that I need to get a surgery like right away? Dude. And he does not tell me.
So what is he planning on telling you?
I don't know. Like I really don't know.
When he comes home,
he told me
he's like,
when I went into the ER, he's like, I was, you know, trying to figure out like what exactly is going on. He's like, so I wanted to figure out everything and like know the game plan before telling you so that you wouldn't be worried.
Okay, that does make kind of sense because then you're kind of in limbo waiting like, well, what is happening? Is he gonna have to? And he told me too, he's like, I didn't want you to like rush up, and he's like, I know you're gonna want to drive up and like take care of me at the ER. He's like, but you have Ember and like I just want you guys to stay down there. I'm like, Evan, no. He's like, but you've been having a hard time, so I didn't want. And I'm like, Evan, you were literally in the ER for hours, for hours, and I have no idea what's going on. Plus, he does have to think too. What if they gave him some medication that he had an allergic reaction to for some reason and went into like,
it's true,
you know, like an
in some sort of like shock. I like then you would be getting a call from the doctors or something.
Exactly.
And you wouldn't even know that your husband was in the hospital.
And I told him that too. I'm like, what if all of a sudden you're going into emergency surgery at the ER?
Right.
Like, were you going to call me and tell me that you were going under and I couldn't get a hold of you? And he's like, of course. And I'm like, Evan, I cannot believe. He's like, I didn't want to bother you. And I'm like, I think your kneecap floating above your entire knee and your completely snapped patellar tendon takes precedent in this situation. So my sweet husband he's getting surgery in a couple days.
Oh my God.
It got delayed because of insurance stuff, but he has to, like, it's one of those things where he has to get it taken care of like ASAP or else there's a lot of problems, but you can't bend your leg at all. And so again, the most Evan thing ever. Like, you need to be resting. You should not be walking around. And if you are walking around, you need to be on crutches. Of course, he's trying to like hobble his way around.
No, I got it.
And that was yesterday.
Yeah.
And he did that for a few minutes. I'm like, stop. You need to just rest. Let me get everything. His whole leg was just quadruple the size that it normally is, swollen, all bruised up just because he was like trying to walk around without crutches a little bit. I'm going to have to be so on top of him. The past couple days, I've literally been like yelling at him to just like sit down, stop. Like, I will take care of everything. Like, let me handle it all.
This is a wild shift too, because he's been in this like crazy mode for the last several months. And what a wild, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be difficult for him to go to swing to the other extreme.
That's the thing. It's like so the past few months, he hasn't had a single day off.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty nuts. And ironically, Monday was the day that before he was going to have like a few days where he was able to work from home.
Oh.
So I'm like, welcome home. You don't have any mobility,
home, honey.
And but I mean, he's a glass half full type of guy, and he's like, well, luckily for my work, he's like, I'm sitting working on a computer 24/7, so he's like, I don't have to be like having to move around. He's not working
at an Amazon facility.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, he doesn't have to be on his feet, but it's just rough too because he's supposed to be traveling next week to go do a bunch of tour dates.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, he can't get on a plane because he can't bend his leg.
Not to mention just the altitude.
Oh, and he's going to be post-op.
Yeah.
So they said, I was getting messages from broads who are like nurses and who have worked in the ER and stuff. And they were like, oh, this specific injury, it's going to be about 9 months for recovery. And then that's what the surgeon said too. So I'm just like.
Yeah. I was just saying before we started recording that like one of Gray's friends, the same thing happened to him walking down a flight of stairs. And I think it took him like 2 years to fully recover. I think he had like various complications and all that. But I feel awful
there goes Evan's dreams of becoming a pro basketball player. He was really going to try to.
His NBA
I'm like,
dreams.
Is it auditioning?
Dude. Well, that's shitty.
So, but I saw you got your kitty cat is back.
Oh my God. So our rabbit and our cat went missing coincidentally though. Like, our cats are indoor-outdoor cats, and our rabbit just got out because someone left the gate open, one of the workers. But they like both went missing in the same week, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, this sucks. But everyone was sending me these crazy messages on Instagram where they were like, someone even said like, my cat just walked in the door after 2 years of being gone. And I got dozens of messages of people saying like, my cat was gone for 3
years.
No, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, like 7 weeks, whatever. Like, so many messages of being like, yeah, my cat had 2 other families that, were in the neighborhood. One of my friends said her cat was stuck in a wall and they didn't realize for 17 days.
Oh my.
One person, their
God.
cat was stuck in a garage for 3 weeks. Someone, like a neighbor's garage.
Oh my God.
In fact, Gray's mom was house sitting one time for a family. They didn't tell her that like their cat liked to go in the garage, and I guess the garage was closed. They were on vacation for 11 days. The cat was okay. Very dehydrated, but what the fuck? It's like, these cats are also survivors, by the way.
Cats are incredible creatures.
2 or 3 weeks?
Incredible creatures.
What are they, drinking the blood of the mice that they catch? Like, how are they surviving?
I mean, I did go without water for numerous years. So.
Right. True. That's true. You went 3 years without drinking any water. That's true. Yeah.
And when I started drinking it, it did get me sick.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay. Well, now that's all making sense.
No. Maybe the cats are also surviving off of Diet Coke.
It could be. So like yesterday oh my God, it was such a long day. Like we had, oh my God, by the way, taking a quick moment to plug because I am wearing one of the cardigans. You can't really see the pearls very well on the video.
So good. I love the little red lining.
But you can see, and it also looks much more yellow in the video. But anyway, go look at it on the Instagram at The Good Almo. We're relaunching next week, and I'm so excited. It's all stuff that I'm like really, really proud of, and exactly the kind of stuff I wanted to make. So I'm super excited about that. It makes me very happy. But I was like driving home from the shoot at like 7:30, and Gray calls me, and he's like, and you know what? Okay, this is really weird. At the shoot, someone called me and said like, "Hey, are you missing your cat?" Now, Sophia, the one who went missing, doesn't have a collar because she gets these crazy like rashes when she gets a collar. So we tried putting a collar. We have to take it off every time. But the other cat has a collar. They look exactly alike. We've been putting up posters all over the neighborhood, like saying missing cat with the black cat, right?
Yeah.
So I get this call of someone saying like, "Hey, are you missing your cat?" And I'm like, "Oh my God. Like, is she wearing a collar?" And the person's like, "Yeah, she's in our backyard." And then I'm like confused. I'm like, "Oh,
like, wait a second. This
and
is
then
the one that doesn't have the collar.
I realized this person called the number on the tag of our other cat, Muffins.
Oh my God.
And it was literally like in the house, like 2 houses away from us. And that cat in particular, like wanders everywhere. Like
Muffins
literally
is just looking for the other kitty.
No, that's actually the funny thing. Anyway, I'll get there. But we went walking to lunch the other day, and we were literally 3 streets down, and I'm like, Muffins just popped out of a bush. Like, what is Muffins
like,
doing?
That's my
like,
cat.
she's the wild one. Sophia's the one that's always cuddling with us and everything. That's why it was so weird when she went missing. We're just like, she's the one who sleeps with us every night. Like, it was really weird. But anyway, so Gray was like, she just. So, okay. So those people called about the other cat from her name tag, and they didn't. I was like, they're like posters. What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, weird coincidence that like you're calling about my other cat who's not
bizarre.
missing. But then a few hours later, Gray calls. He's like, well, Sophia just walked in through the back door.
Oh, thank goodness! I know you were really torn up about it, and obviously the baby.
I saw like I had like our Chewy.com order with all the cat food that like came up on my email, and I was like, we don't need all this food for 2 cats anymore. No. But she's back. But Muffins isn't happy. She like literally is hissing at Sophia.
Oh,
and
so
I'm like,
Muffins was like,
hire a hitman?
Muffins was all in on this.
And I actually told Gray, I was like, dude, Muffins has been so much more affectionate since Sophia's gone, like hanging
Muffins
out
was
with
like,
us.
I want to be the only cat in this home the entire time.
I shit you not. Muffins is wild because Muffins is also the one, like, if you delay feeding her in the morning at all, she'll like bring in a bird like 2 minutes later. She's like, okay, you're not
just
feeding
like, you're
me.
an hour late, bitch.
Yeah, I have time to feed myself. Last night, Sophia was like laying on our chest in bed, and I like woke up to get water. In the light of the doorway, Muffins is just like sitting there watching like in a movie. I'm like, oh my God. So there's something, and they're sisters too. There's some dark rivalry that goes back years with them.
Yes, there's a huge past. I just think it's so funny. It makes me laugh that Sophia, Sophia's the name that's a little bit like, I could imagine it being like princessy, but also like Sophia in the new Mission Impossible movie where she's a spy.
Right.
Sophia, sexy spy. But that Muffins is the one that is out to
Muffins
get her.
is the hitman. Muffins is just like, I thought you were never coming back.
Muffins is like, don't let the name trick you, bitch.
No, that's like in remember what is it? Cats and Dogs. Remember that movie? That iconic movie?
Yeah.
The guy's name was like Mr. Tinkles or something like that. Evil cat.
Evil.
So anyway, I was really, really happy about that. But she was really like, you could feel her. She's so skinny. So I think she got stuck. I think she did get stuck somewhere or something.
Bub.
I don't know, but.
Well, I'm glad that she's home. I hope that Muffins stays away from her.
Yeah, me too. I feel bad for Muffins too. I'm like, wow, she's getting all this attention.
Yeah.
Like, so anyway, cat drama. But
cat drama.
Moving on from cat drama
to other drama.
Yes. Today we are going to have the host and Instagram host, if you will.
Yes.
Amanda from Not Skinny But Not Fat. If you know her Instagram or podcast, it's all things
so
pop
good,
tea.
so amazing. We've been talking about her interview with Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, we have.
Numerous times over the past few weeks. She just interviewed Khloe Kardashian, which was an amazing interview.
It was good.
So good. So we're going to dive into all of this with Amanda. I want to know about how she was able to interview them.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that too.
How she was on the red carpet for Hulu for the show.
She's killing it.
I want to know the behind the scenes from some of the wedding with the Kravis wedding.
That's the thing, of course, like we said, all roads lead back to Kravis because there is always some new news with them every time that we sit down to talk about pop culture.
Every single time.
Italy wedding. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about the outfits.
Okay.
Because we need to do that. But anyway.
Do you want to talk about the outfits with Amanda?
Should we talk about them Yeah, let's talk about
with Amanda.
Okay. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Broads, if you are a small business owner, what is the craziest way that you've tried to cut costs? Look, we get it. Starting your own business, it's tough, especially in today's economy where everything seems to cost approximately 4 times more than it did a few years ago. Okay. Well, one easy way to cut costs and save a little bit of money is by using stamps.com to get access to tons of exclusive discounts on shipping rates and USPS and UPS rates. It also just makes shipping so much easier in general.
Yep. Shipping and mailing is pretty much unavoidable part of starting a business and of everyday life, really. I'm always going to the post office, even if it's not business related. But you don't have to go to the post office anymore with stamps.com because the post office comes to you. You can use your home computer to do everything you would normally do at the post office without ever leaving your couch. You can send invoices, ship products, compare different carrier rates, and so much more, all from the stamps.com platform. They'll even pick up the packages from your front door.
It's amazing. And again, you'll get access to discounts that you can't find anywhere else, like up to 30% off USPS rates or 86% off UPS rates, which is wild, saving so much. When every penny counts, those savings really add up and make a difference. Not to mention all the time you'll save by using stamps.com. In just a few minutes, you can have your account up and running.
Start mailing and shipping with stamps.com and keep more money in your pocket every day. Sign up with promo code Chatty for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to stamps.com, click the mic at the top of the page, and enter code Chatty.
So dads, or at least my dad, I should say my dad, is just one of those people that even if you think you know everything about him, there's always something else. Also, speaking of dad, Evan dad, he's just in the ER and I don't know about it, okay? So maybe it is all dads. Always a new story with my dad you've never heard of or a new fact you didn't know. Earlier this year, my dad was telling a story from his younger years very casually as if it was something we already knew. And I swear to God, I was like, listening to a stranger talk. It was blowing my mind. The places, the people, the memories were brand new to me. That's when I decided to make sure I knew every story and memory that my dad had to share, which is why he's getting Storyworth this Father's Day, people.
Storyworth. It's the perfect gift. I've given Storyworth to my father, to my father-in-law. It's perfect for any kind of father figure. And God knows they can be really hard to shop for. But Storyworth is an online service that helps you connect with your dad through stories and memories and make sure you have them for years to come. And the way it works is each week, your dad, or whoever you choose to do this with, will get an email from Storyworth with a thought-provoking question or prompt. Over the years, Storyworth collects the answers and then compiles everything into a keepsake book. And I love that this doesn't add clutter into someone's life. Instead, it's something really special. It's capturing memories.
It just adds beauty, baby.
Yep.
I'm so excited to see what kinds of new things I learn about my dad throughout the project, but the best part will be having it to pass down to my daughter when she's older. Storyworth is a way to keep your family's memories alive for years and years.
Yep. Give all the fathers in your life a meaningful gift you can both cherish for years to come. Storyworth. And right now, for a limited time, you can save $10 on your first purchase when you go to storyworth.com/chatty. That's STORYWORTH.com/chatty to save $10 on your first purchase. Storyworth.com/chatty. So guys,
we are here with Amanda Hirsch, aka Commanda, aka Lamanda, aka Not Skinny But Not Fat. Yes.
You like that intro?
Jess, all the names.
Listen, I'm a huge fan, so I'm excited to be chatting with you. And what is it like to know that the Kardashians are huge fans of you?
It is very cool. It is very cool. Yeah, it's been a journey with that. It's very cool.
Do you feel like you're better than us now?
Yeah. Am I not?
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
feel like, like I've always known that social media is such a wild place where you never know who's watching, and the people you're talking about could be the ones that are watching you talk about. I was always very aware. But then to see that and be like, whoa, they really like know everything and they're on it. And I've always said them, people are like, oh, their assistants probably run their stuff. Like, no, bitch, they're in their car. They have time to kill in traffic. They have to, they're on Instagram, just like you, just like me, commenting, going in their DMs, like looking who talked about them. So, but that when they started kind of responding and being kind of into the stuff, I was like, oh my God.
Okay, wait. Tell me, yeah. Wait, tell me how that started. Tell me how that started.
You jumped right in. I think it started with Courtney. She was the love of my life before she became Travis Barker's love of his life. No, I support Travis, like major. But I used to really obsess over Hirsch street style and Hailey Bieber's. You guys, this podcast is for really deep and smart things. So if you're into like learning something new. Do you remember, Becca, I used to be like, Hailey Bieber, like, looks so hot today. And I think what happened with that is I realized that she has a style. It took me time for that. And I realized like Style by Maeve or whatever, who's not her stylist anymore, like literally is tailoring, laying out daily outfits. This is not Hailey Bieber going into her closet, just throwing on what I thought I could like recreate.
Right. No, it's Maeve's blood, sweat, and tears, just like 24/7. I used to do wardrobe styling, and so I'm like, I know you're like the 24/7, and people are like, their style, and you're like, yes, their style.
You didn't just go get coffee, like, and it was like this shirt, this blazer, like it's laid out, everything. And it's tailored. Everyone's always like, how are the jeans like tight on her calf, but wide on her, ankle, but like, and I'm like, literally. When I got styled for my interview with Kim, and I didn't know that the jeans that when I was with the stylist, she was like, we should take it in a bit. I was like, let's take it in a bit. Like, I didn't know $200 to take it in a bit. Like same. So anyway, my point is everything of theirs is like that, right? It's like a pair of jeans, but it's tailored. I don't know how I got to that part. I'm just still on that $200,
It's wild, truly. And also the day-to-day, like when we would used to have clients who would come in and we would then prepare them like they're going to Europe for 2 weeks just for a vacation. It would be day one, like in little like plastic baggies, like day one for like coffee trips for the night. Like everything was just.
But that's really nice for packing. I mean, there's a service like that for normies, just like packing help, because I literally end up packing a prom dress, like heels I'll never wear. And just then I end up wearing the same shit every day.
That actually would be a good service if someone came into your closet and your children's closet and your husband's and packed your bags for your 2-week vacation. Genius.
Somebody do it, because we're not going to do it.
So
credit us somewhere.
Idea. But do you think this is staged like on Hulu, on the Hulu Kardashians show, which by the way, we have been just talking nonstop because that show is so good.
Did you watch E though? Did you watch like Keeping Up and you liked it
kind
more?
of. It was boring to me.
Really? I mean, Hulu would be very happy because it's like the same show basically on Hulu. And the way they described it always was like, it's going to be more documentary style and more, less of like the forced family activities that we kind of saw.
Right.
But I think what makes it so good is like, it's shot like crazy, and they're doing like the selling sunset music vibes, and it's just bigger. And I think the stories that we're seeing on there, like we all know what went down, but we're waiting to see like if we're going to get any nugget. We're like, okay, we know Kanye was spiraling. We know she's with Pete, but it still excites us so much to be like, oh my God, did she just like talk about Pete? And we're like, we know they're together. Why are we... We're like, I think she was alluding to Pete. It's like, they're literally dating. He's literally branded. Why are you acting? But it's working. Like something works. You know what I mean?
Well, I think they're allowing more allowing us to see more into their lives, though. Like, I just still think that scene, we've already talked about it, but that scene just sends chills up my spine thinking of it. When Chris gets the call from Kim at SNL and she's like, should I bring the cameras? And Kim's like, yeah, bring the cameras. And they go in and then she's crying and the suitcase. Like, it's all very like, very
except Kendall and Kylie that still won't show anything. And they just do like,
them going to In-N-Out.
Yeah, them going in and out. Or the car wash, which was so funny. But yeah, Kourtney is literally having sex on camera and like showing her eggs like in the thing. And Kylie's like, we should go to a car wash. That would be crazy. And we're like, literally tell us anything. The name of the baby. Like, what's your status?
Are you with Travis? What's happening?
Yeah,
what's going on?
Give us something. They don't bring it. And I feel like that's why the Kardashians are like liked more.
Yeah.
Because they fucking are giving us so much. Like, who else on reality television is giving us so much?
No,
they work at it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Oh, what I was going to say, though, there was that moment, though. Do you think someone's styling Kim, though, now? There was that scene where she's like, I don't know what to wear. Should I wear this? Should I wear that? I don't know what to do without Kanye.
Yeah, she has a stylist. She's actually she's Israeli, like very Israeli. I don't know where I met her when I did, sorry, it's going to sound like I'm like, but when I did the Hulu carpet, I saw her and I was like, oh my God, you're Israeli. And I spoke to her in Hebrew. What's so wild is like, I talked to other people in the industry, like stylists, and they were like, she doesn't really style like anyone else. I wonder what the story is, like how Kim found her and how it works. If you guys saw the episode with the SNL, she was there with her, like, handing her the outfits. I wonder why. I was wondering about that scene. I was like, Kim, wait, you do have a style. Like, what's happening? I think Kanye was just very influential in what she wore, and it's mostly they're trying to make that the like.
Sure,
but I will say, like, you know, celebrity to celebrity with the stylist. Some celebrities are like, they have the stylist there to, like, you know, pick up the clothes and deliver them and, you know, set them up all nicely. But some of the celebrities are very involved and are practically styling themselves because they have a lot of opinions in the matter versus, you know, some celebrities are just like, dress me top to bottom. I don't care. I'll wear whatever you think I should wear. So maybe that's more of the dynamic. I don't know.
I feel like she's giving that too much. When I'm watching it, don't you feel like you're like, Kim, stop. Like what Scott told her. Like, you were always, they had like a clothing store. You like have skims.
Right.
You know what you're doing. Like, stop giving Kanye all the credit.
Yes.
You know, but I think it was just a point of trying to kind of talk about like what she's missing from their relationship, and that him influencing the fashion. She's very vocal about.
I think it's kind of, I think what makes the show good too is that we're seeing like the, you know, the all the dimensions and the different people. Like I feel like the way it's been produced has done a great job of not just flattening like these personalities or relationships, right? Like we're seeing through this show like all these just different dimensions of Kim and Kanye's relationship and you know, Scott and Kourtney. And it's like, what I like is that it's hard to sort of like flatten someone and be like, they're the bad guy in the situation, they're the good guy. Instead, you're like seeing all these parts of real life where you're like, oh, you know, like you're kind of on this, it feels very real in that way. I enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, I think especially for so many reality TV shows come out where we don't really know the players and then we get to know them and we're into it and there's drama. But here it's like, this is the most interesting family in the world and we're getting to see them like not just on social media, not just super, super curated. So I think we're literally like pigeons to crowns. We'll take anything. That's what it's like to me.
Wait, so where we started when you started talking about this?
I'm like, am I the Kardashian correspondent?
Yes, you are. PR star.
Yes, I am.
So you said it started because you were obsessed with Hailey Bieber. That's where we started with this.
And Kourtney.
And Kourtney. Yeah, you were obsessed with Hailey Bieber style, then Kourtney. Yep.
Yeah, and I always loved the Kardashians, but I think it was like all my followers knew it was like Kourtney was kind of my fave. And then I cover like all pop culture, but I wonder like how it started that I like know them now. I'm like trying to
now
think.
They're besties.
Well, we're not besties. Like,
yeah, why haven't you done?
We're just like, you know, doing it. You know, with Courtney, you know what it was? It's like I was following her for a while, loved her, never thought to like DM. You know how like when your followers like DM you and you're like, that's so nice. Like I feel like I don't do that. Like I wouldn't do that.
I don't
like
do
if
that.
I didn't know somebody. So even though people like I was obsessed with Courtney, I wasn't like, hi, I'm obsessed with you. Like I'm not that big of a loser. So but then I saw that she went on Addison Rae's podcast. And yeah, she has a podcast. I don't know if anymore. And I was like, and it just came out. Like I responded to her story, like, oh my God, you should come on my podcast. Like wrote that. This was like 2 years ago. And she responded. And I remember I died. She was kind of like, should I? And I was like, oh my God. I was like, you should. And then, you know, okay, so I'm married, right? Like with my husband for 11 years. So this was like as exciting as like if a guy that you really like texted you back.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's like what's exciting nowadays. Just like DMing with like women you like on the internet.
That is so funny you say that, because I was just thinking the other day, I have like a couple like of my, and they're not even crushes. They're just like women that I love following on Instagram. And like when they reply to one of my stories, they don't even have to be like famous, you know? It's just like when they reply to my stories, I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, like,
oh no, all the endorphins and serotonin
for them. I'm like, oh, maybe like, you know, maybe she's going to notice.
Wait,
that,
I need to know who's your crush.
They're not, it's not a romantic crush. It's like I'm like obsessed with them.
I want to know who.
I'll tell you, I'm not going to say it right now.
You're not going to put it out there?
No, I'm not going to put it out there. That's too vulnerable because I have to slowly become best friends with them. This is the long game, okay?
But you get it.
Yes.
Oh, 1,000%.
So with Courtney was like, that's the next, where I remember I was doing a podcast with this like funny, she's on my podcast network, Jackie Schimmel. And I was just recording with her. And I was like, can I just tell you something, Courtney? And I had her help me formulate the response that it was so not me, that it's so pathetic to look back, where it was like, stop, like, I fucking like a bunch of fuckings and like, I'd be fucking honored, like all this shit. I look back and I'm like, oh my God. But I needed help at that moment because I was stunned. And you're not going to leave them on red. Like,
no.
You know what I mean? So I think that's where it started, where like, she started interacting and I was like, okay, she's watching. And the way she was talking was like, I could tell that she kind of knows. And then I think it was kind of like when you become aware of something, you notice more. So I noticed that their friends follow me and will say things like, we love your account and things like that. I'm like, like crazy. Like I remember it was so funny. Because I love the nuances of shit. So Courtney has Poosh, right? So she has all of the people that work with her, like her friends. So one of them, and her name is Sarah Howard, and she's like not famous or anything. But I find it so funny because I love paying attention to these things. So whenever I see Sarah Howard at like Poosh meetings or whatever, she's with a Jewel. So I love pointing that out, like not Jewel shaming, but more like how funny it's like Poosh, like avocado smoothies, plus a Jewel. So I called that out a few times, and then I saw like her DMing me one day and being like, oh, like my Jewel. And then I sent her, not like thinking, I like sent her a picture of me being like, it's fine, like of me smoking a Jewel. And she's like, oh my God, Courtney's here and thought it was so funny. So like all these little things. I'm like, I literally sent you me in my nightie right now, like my nursing nightie from Amazon. You could have told me.
You're like, I would have done full glam.
Yeah, I would have done full glam. But no, I started noticing that they're kind of noticing. And then Kim started following me. That was an exciting day.
Not on her Finsta either, on her real account. What a move.
On a real account. Yeah, on a real account. And I guess, yeah. And that was exciting. And and Chloe is always like the sweetest, like ever. She'll just be like, Amanda. And I'm like, you're so nice to me. Thank you.
Wait, so is Courtney going to come on your podcast ever?
Courtney, I don't think will. I talked to her when I got the opportunity to do the red carpet for Hulu. I posted this a bunch of times. So if anyone saw this, when I said hi to Courtney at the end, she was like, we need to do a day. And I was like, okay. She's like, we need to do a day together. I'm like, okay. And then she left. And then at the after party, when I was talking to her and Travis, she said it again. And I was like, hey, bitch doesn't say something twice if she doesn't kind of mean it.
Right,
you know?
right.
So it's kind of like, what do you mean? Like, what are you thinking? I don't know. Like, what? And she basically said that she isn't as much of a podcast person, which I think we know from her personality. Sure. She's not really like a talker.
Right.
Like she would just be like, yeah. So I think she knows that, and that she would shine more maybe like in a different situation. So obviously I was like, I'm down. Like, just let me know. Like, if we can work it out. So I just have a feeling she won't do the podcast as much as I think that I could probably bring out good shit in her, but I would, my schedule is open for the
You're
day.
Like, no, it's casual. I'll just fly out to Calabasas. Don't worry. The husband will take care of the kid. Like, don't worry. We'll totally, yeah.
What do you mean? 100% all of that. Yeah. 100% all of that. But I think that she knows her, because I think I even said at the thing, I was like, are you jelly Kim's doing my podcast? Because like, give me a glass of wine and I'm just talking on my ass. And she was like, no, I'll do it. Or like whatever she said. And I think from what I understood, you know, she's not the like, take a mic and just like talk person.
Yeah, sure.
Kim is of the whole family. And I think Chloe's actually really good at it too.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's Kourtney's vibe.
So I'm curious, did you have to go through like a presidential style briefing before doing these interviews? No. Wow. Not at all.
Not at all. Surprisingly. Of course, there was like legal stuff and, you know, like releases for the location and things you have to sign. But I think that in terms of the questions, it was with Kim, asked everything that I wanted to. The only thing that like they mentioned, it was like, they were like, maybe not that. It was like, I wanted to ask if Pete was like the one. And she was like, listen, we like just started dating. It wasn't even anything like dramatic.
Yeah.
And with Chloe, like same, like I think they know that I'll be respectful. I'm not trying to get like a salacious headline. I'm not trying to put anybody in an uncomfortable, imagine like people come on your podcast. Are you going to try to like put them in a position?
Right.
Right. You know what I mean? Like,
no, you always want to create a safe space
exactly.
for your guest.
Exactly. But no, a lot of like huge media things are like that, right? It's like trying to get that kind of soundbite or trying to get that salacious headline. But my intention is like the opposite. Like I really want the like good stuff to come out. Like a million articles are going to come out anyway. There's always a tidbit. There's always, you know, something. But I want it to be, you know, positive. And I think they trusted me with that. You know?
Did you have to submit questions and talking points for approval?
Well, I wrote an outline because obviously I'm going to do it for that, but they didn't come back. I mean, I sent it to like my producer who like took care of the whole thing, but I asked everything I wanted to.
Damn, that's crazy. I was very curious about that.
Yeah. When I need to like, it really sucks when you need to, you know, for other things that I've done, not with them, but like you do a job for a place and questions you ask, like don't get approved. That's like a sucky. That for me as someone who usually does their own interviews, being in a position where you can't ask what you want, like I would feel like I would go in like with kind of a heavy heart. You know what I mean? If you're like, wait, then why am I here if you don't want to talk about fucking anything? But no, surprisingly with them, no. And another big surprise is like, well, I remember when Kim came in and I was like, so what side do you want to sit on? Like, I'm sure you have a side. She's like, I don't have a side.
She's like, both sides are perfect.
Right.
We're good.
I was like, okay. And she was like, whatever you want. I was like, I don't have a side either. Like, relax. I'm also like pretty symmetrical. But no, that was really, really cool. I think they came on knowing that, you know, my thing is also like people that follow me and I think that are into them, like we want the tidbits. Like we don't want the like, so Kanye, you know what I mean? We're into like the little things. I wanted to ask Chloe like how she takes her coffee, which is like 7 pumps of like chai or something at Starbucks. Like crazy.
That was wild.
Well, and people want to hear about someone's daily life, you know? It's like interesting. I'm curious about what people, like even influencers I follow, even though like I do the same thing, I'm still curious, like, well, where's your other kid right now while you're taking this one to swim practice? You know, like I'm just curious. Like it's weird, but I am, you know, I'm like,
no one chose their nanny, right? I mean, I literally don't have one, but in my head, I'm like, do they think I'm like hiding a nanny? You know what I mean? Because like where do they think Noah? And I'll think about that too. Like I happened to go with my husband we had a cleaning lady here and we're like, let's take fucking advantage, knock out 2 birds with one stone and tell her we're going to eat something while Noah's sleeping. Mm-hmm. And in my head, it crossed my mind that when I took a picture of us, I was like, where do they think Noah is right now? Yeah. I'm like, do I need to tell them that my cleaning, like, I'm like, you don't fucking need to tell them that. Like,
it's
oh my God.
Yeah. But I'm very curious about all those things. So I'm interested when I listen to podcasts. I'm like, I want to hear about like what time you work out at and what, you know, it's like, I don't know why.
Right. Right. And like, there's so many different nuances with them. Like I asked her about the 2-a-day workouts and she was like, listen, we don't do 2-a-days. And the fact that 2-a-days became like a thing that even they call them 2-a-days, you know, she's like, when we do 2-a-days, I'm like, listen, let's give a moment for 2-a-days because it's such a specific niche thing. Yeah. If you don't watch, you know, their stories or even specifically mine making fun of the 2-a-days, it's like, they are very aware. And I love those little things more than like, you know, when you divorced Kanye, you know, that I don't care about as much.
It's kind of funny, actually. Okay, wait. Going back to you were obsessed with Kourtney's style. I want to segue in to talk about the wedding looks from this past weekend. But how did you feel when her style started? What's your take on her style kind of shifting when she started dating Travis?
You know what I think? And I think this is perfect. I'm going to steal from Chloe. When I asked Chloe what she thought about Kendall's cucumber thing on my show, she's like, you know what? It means there is a God because you can't be that perfect bitch. Or like something like that. And you know, that's what I'll say about Kourtney. She's thriving in every direction in her life right now. You can't be perfect. Like the style is not one of them. It disappoints me, but why are you laughing? I'm being honest.
Laughing because it's funny.
Taking it so seriously. I'm like, I'm going to cry, basically. I'm going to cry. No, if you guys, okay, so when I was obsessed with her style, she was dating Eunice, who like, he's like, he who shan't to be named because the whole family hates him. Mm-hmm.
His name's Eunice?
Eunice.
Oh, that's right. Why? Okay, I was thinking never mind. Continue.
So he's like this hot young boxer, and her style when she was dating him was like literally look up like Kourtney looks with Eunice or whatever, was literally like the hottest ever.
Yeah,
but she wasn't happy, and he was not nice apparently, and not a good boyfriend. But I don't know what happened to her style, and it is apropos because that's really how I started being obsessed with her. Was listen, love Chloe, love Kim. Would we dress like them? Like they dress very kind of not every day.
Right. Not the relatable clothes.
Right. Dang. We're not wearing cat suits like leopard cat.
I'm not, as much as I'd love to go pick my daughter up from her school in a full cat suit, it's just not going to happen.
Wow. I do like her style with Eunice. Yeah. She looks good.
She's so hot.
Yeah. It just, you know, what bothers me is I just don't feel like it's her. That's what I think we talked about it last week. I'm like, well, that doesn't feel like it's true to her.
But who is it? And what is it? Is it him? Is he like, this is almost like gaudy. Like the wedding. That's the thing.
I feel like it's her take on what like a rocker's wife should be. It's her perception of that.
Yeah. I had high hopes for the wedding dress because in my head I was like, okay, the ring he got her wasn't like a skull black ring, right? Yes. It was a very... like the ring everyone has now, which is the oval, the rainbow. It's like a very, you know, it was like JoJo's ring, right? Yep. Everyone knows JoJo's ring. JoJo's ring. I feel like there's so many close inspo. Maybe it was Travis's. But so I was like, maybe she's going to come in with like a total like brides.com wedding dress. But no.
Okay, I'm going to give my thoughts then, Jess. I feel like you probably have different ones, but here's my thought. Okay. Love, by the way, if you guys haven't seen, okay, I thought the look was fun, whatever, for their Santa Barbara courthouse thing. Wasn't my taste, but it was fun. It was cute, looked great with their little retro car, black and white photos, whatever. It worked. His little, what's it called, collar, you know, it looked nice. Go Google, if you haven't, the Italy wedding looks. Now, I love religious iconography. Mm-hmm. I love it. I have photos of like different saints, and I'm not Catholic, but saints, Virgin Mary, whatever, all around my house. love it. I think it's just very like it's literally iconic. It's the religious icons, you know? It's like, I like all of that. I get it. I love it. However, I've never seen something so heavy-handed in my life. I'm sorry. The look when she posted on her Instagram, here comes the bride. I'm not being mean, guys. This is just fashion. Stop. You know what? I liked when Chloe said on your podcast where she's like, what if I'm going to the Met Gala? I'm like asking to be torn apart. You know, that's what people do. It's part of it. You know, it's like, that's part of fashion. Okay. Don't take it so seriously. Anyway, but that's the problem. She's taking herself too seriously when it comes to her fashion. So the post that she made where she was like, here comes the ... And she had like this little blue veil and this little black dress or whatever. She has this like giant bedazzled, like Mary icon thing on her chest, and my sister and I were going back and forth about it because we're like, this could be cool, but it's just like costumey. And then for their actual wedding, the dress, whatever, it's not my taste. I would prefer to wear it on the honeymoon rather than the actual wedding, but whatever, she probably felt good in it. But the veil with the giant Mary icon and also the ceremony thing with the giant Mary and I'm like, okay, guys, this is tacky at this point. You're too heavy-handed. Keep it. You can still do like Baroque over the top without making it this like it was just over the top and tacky to me. I
think tacky is unfortunately the word.
Jess, go for it.
Well,
why? What is Jess? Does Jess love it?
She probably does.
Well, here's the thing. Apparently, the unpopular opinion, I loved it. I love a fucking heavy-handed theme. If you're gonna do a theme, I want it to be over the top and heavy-handed.
But why are you doing Virgin Mary theme for your wedding?
Well, he's Catholic.
That's the thing. I'm like, why is she doing it all? Because he's Catholic?
The question is, as much as they're like the cutest, is she, because there are moments where it seems like he's her bitch on the show, right? When he's like, whatever you want to drink. And like, baby, whatever my baby wants. And you're like, okay, is she obsessed with him because he's her bitch? But then you're like, wait, she's the one who changed her style, like is leaning into this like theme, whatever. So maybe they're each other's bitches. No, but yeah, that I want to hear though. I want to hear it, Jess. So you loved it?
I loved it. I like a heavy-handed theme. And honestly, I think tacky's hot. Like, I'm into tacky right now. When you go, it's like the Madonna Inn in Santa Barbara.
Everyone's tacky now. Like,
well,
look at Megan Fox and like MGK.
It's so over the top. The thing is, though, I did not like the matching Mr. and Mrs. leather jackets at the end. I thought that was cheesy as hell. Other than that, I loved the black dress. I love that there was an ongoing theme from the engagement. I love that, what was it, Dolce & Gabbana, like, sponsored, so everyone was like on theme.
Fun. I like that.
I'm like, this is their wedding.
There were panties on the table. There was thongs on the table.
The
thongs on the table. I don't know. My appetite would be a little bit like, what am I supposed to do with this right now?
Like, we get it. Yeah. You guys fuck. How many times do we have to go over this? We get it.
No,
you just had sex under the table.
What I loved is how every clip from the wedding, you could tell that it was, no matter how gaudy, how punky, it was still cheesy. Like, the music was cheesy. Yes. It was still cheesy. Like, it wasn't like anarchy or whatever. It was literally, every clip was like, we are fit. Like, there was a wedding song. There was a wedding song in the background. So, they're just, at the end of the day, the fashion doesn't necessarily align with like the personality. Even for Travis, like, have you ever seen a gentler person? And like, he looks not like that. You know what I mean? And he's so gentle and like eats only like almonds or something.
That's my thing with the fashion. It's like, even if it's not someone's, like, if someone does a wedding and the style is so not who they are, but they really go hard with the theme, I appreciate it, because it's when it's kind of half in, half out, that I'm like, either, go all the way, like, or go home, honestly. So to me, even if not everything was like, oh, it's my taste, I was just like, photo after photo after photo, because it was so over the top. And I assumed that they were going to have a very
like low key wedding. So maybe that's why I was a little thrilled. I like just how
that's
over
true.
the top. And they're in Italy.
That's true.
So you have this whole running theme. It's just, you
do have like Kanye and Kim's Italy wedding versus this one. Like there is a big contrast, obviously, which is kind of fun. Still a bazillion roses, obviously.
I feel like the sisters were judging for sure.
Yes.
This is my opinion. I for sure think.
I feel like you could still do tacky Baroque, but you don't like, this was my qualm. You don't have to throw the Virgin Mary on everything to make it Catholic themed. Wear a crazy like emerald diamond rosary around your neck for the bridal gown, right? Like you don't have to throw on the Virgin Mary onto the dress and onto the background and onto the veil.
Like imagine being like not Christian and being there. You know what I mean? I'd have I had to Google like, is that Virgin Mary? Is she called the Madonna? Like I wasn't sure because I'm Jewish. Right. What is going on? You probably feel like left out of the theme.
Like this is not inclusive. Okay.
But my only thing is, I'm offended. My only thing is, I remember for my wedding, the dress I chose was boho. I remember Googling like boho chic. That was my vibe then. Ask me today, like #no regrets, but like boho isn't even timeless, right? Like today, my sister, she wanted to go wedding dress shopping at the same place as me. And I was like, no, you're not going to get lace boho. Like it's not in right now. But I was like, think of something that is timeless, that you'll look back, maybe like a satin or like something. I wanted to wear a headpiece because I was so into boho, and I didn't because I was like thinking of the timeless thing. So I just think, will Courtney be happy with this look when she's 80? Maybe. But like maybe styles change and maybe you should have done something a little more. I just can't be fake. It's so hard. Like one of her friends was there and I commented on his picture that he looks great. And then he wrote to me like, oh my God, but like Courtney, she was just, and I was like, and I literally left him on red. Oh my God, I need to check that. I left it on red because I couldn't lie.
You couldn't lie.
You know
You're like, no.
I couldn't lie. How am I going to write back like, oh my God, I love the veil. Like I can't be fake. So if you notice, all my pictures of Courtney are like, she's so happy. No, you guys, she's so happy because I can't say that I hated it.
Oh my God.
It doesn't mean that I don't love her. It's like you were saying, Becca, it's like the fashion. Like, I don't even feel like it should be offensive. If I wear something ugly, I'm not ugly.
It's like I have all on a regular basis. I'll go out to drinks with my friends, and one of my friends will be like, "What the fuck are you wearing? This is horrible." And I'm like, "Well, I like it, and it's not her style." To you? Yeah, but like in a joking way.
Bitch, you look ugly
bitch, you look horrible. No, but it'd be like, what is this? And I'm like, I like it. It looks ridiculous, and I like it. So then, we're all good. It doesn't mean that they don't like me.
Yeah, it's a piece of. I mean, they've been told worse. But I think that Chloe's comment is very apropos. Yes. Is she not at her best fashion moment? Probably. Everything else is going really well, so you can't have it all.
No, you can't have it all.
Okay, broads, one quick interruption from this pop culture Kardashian business with Amanda. Is it just me, or is this year flying by? I already know I'm going to close my eyes for 2 minutes, and it will be September. And because I know that I'm not going to waste a single second this summer doing things I don't really want to do, like grocery shopping and meal prepping. But I do still want to eat healthy because, when we eat good, we feel good, right? So how do I plan on eating well and not spending precious summer moments in the kitchen? With the help of Factor, of course.
Factor's so good. When they send us their meals, I was like, okay, this is amazing. Gray was like, I want to have this every meal of every day. Mm-hmm. They make it really easy for anyone to eat cleaner 24/7 with fresh, never frozen, prepared meals that are so delicious. It's hard to believe they're actually good for you. They have 30 new meals on the menu each week. They've got options for a lot of different dietary options if you're into that. They've got vegan, vegetarian, keto, low calorie, little snacks and goodies like energy bites, bars, veggie sides, cold pressed juices, all to help keep you full and satisfied and keep your body going all day long.
They have so many options. And when you use Factor for your meals, you don't have to worry about anything. The meals come right to your doorstep, pre-prepared, and are ready to eat in just 2 minutes. No grocery shopping, no dishes, just delicious, healthy meals ready to be enjoyed on a moment's notice. We had the Thai almond chicken with the sweet potato noodles last night. And oh my God, like you were saying, I was shocked. It is so delicious, like restaurant quality good.
If you want to eat good food this summer and with no hassle, head to go.factor75.com/chatty120 and use code chatty120 to get $120 off. That's code chatty120 at go.factor75.com/chatty120 for $120 off.
So as a kid, I really struggled with math, as I think a lot of kids do. But math is just one part of the education system, whether you like it and are good at it or not. But that doesn't mean there isn't room for kids to learn and explore subjects that interest them as well and grow in those. While they may not get the chance at their traditional school, when you sign them up for OutSchool, suddenly the entire world is opened up to them with classes for every interest and things that maybe they struggle with to even grow in.
Oh yeah, there are classes in things like mastering karate, video game design, even a class on how to become a YouTube star, which I'm sure a lot of kids these days would love. OutSchool offers super interactive classes, both live and online, for kids from 3 to 18, and the whole experience is totally customizable to how your child learns best. And you get to choose the class size, the instructor, the teaching method, and the group setting. And I just think it's such a cool way to get kids on board with learning in a way that totally customizes it to their interests and preferences.
Ember has been begging me to sign her up for OutSchool's art camp with Picasso class, which I did, but she doesn't know yet because it's going to be the best surprise ever. The camp is set over 3 days and teaches kids about Picasso and his art while walking them through a salt dough art project. It looks like so much fun, and it's going to be the perfect activity for after school.
OutSchool helps kids explore their interests and discover new ones. Right now, for a limited time, you'll save $15 on your child's first class when you go to outschool.com/chatty and use code chatty. That's OUTSCHOOL.com/chatty, code chatty to save $15 off your child's first class. Outschool.com/chatty to save $15 on your child's first class. Outschool.com/chatty, code chatty. Okay, in other news. Oh, what?
I was going to ask about the wedding, about individuals who are missing from the wedding.
Yes. Thoughts? Who was missing from the wedding, Jess? You're talking about this. Were there specific people?
Oh, I saw Caitlyn was not invited.
Yeah, Caitlyn I assumed wasn't invited. I don't know why everyone thought that she would be. Like,
I forget about Caitlyn.
You guys, people also forget that like she and Chris had a lot of like drama. Like she wrote a book, she made Chris not look good. Like the kids, I think, took a side, obviously, because she's not their actual parent, like the Kardashians. So I think the Kardashians are probably cordial with her and probably say happy birthday and shit. But I really did not think she was going to be invited. It was pretty small.
That's crazy though. Like, I mean, that's just got to be a
because I forget it, right? Because she's their dad.
Yeah, right. So then there's that.
Now I know they said there's going to be an LA wedding, so I guess
I like that.
I guess if Caitlyn's not invited to that, and that's a larger, party, that might be a little more of a statement. But also too, with the history of Caitlyn dropping all the family's private news, I would imagine that I wouldn't want that potential at the wedding.
Yeah. No, I think they're not. I assume she wouldn't be there. And Scott, I mean, that is also weird, right? Because it's the father of her kids, but we see how like weird that is anyway. But Drew wasn't there. I mean, so many people weren't there.
Interesting. You said that Scott Disick was at a nightclub. Apparently,
he was at a strip club. Strip club the night of.
Do you think that was like a purposeful statement of like?
I feel like with him, because I think that during the wedding he posted himself on a PJ and was like, "Where am I headed?" And like it was totally a tease. You know what I mean? Which I kind of liked. I was like, oh.
Edgy.
I was like, he's playing in. Listen, Scott has something about him. He's just like,
of course.
Yeah, he's like funny. He's a vibe, but he's
You know what it is? Jess and I have talked about this before with other men. There are certain men where they could cheat on you, they could fuck you over, and then they'll go, you'll confront them about it, and they'll go, well, oh, sorry, you caught me. And then you kind of look like an idiot if you keep going after them, right? So then you're kind of like, well, how can I stay being mad at you if you're just kind of going, oopsies? And I feel like Scott's that kind of guy, charming, fun. So I feel like when he gets caught, he's kind of like, well, it is what it is. And then you kind of got to be like, well, yeah.
And he always has like excuses. He'll be like, I was at a hard time.
Right.
Like, he tries to be like open with his feelings about it. But no, what I think he got really lucky about is when he was fucking over Courtney, this was the very beginning of keeping up. There wasn't as much social media, if at all. And so it was like, you could probably assume it was cheating they were talking about, but no one ever said it.
Right.
All of a sudden you'd see her being like, where is Scott? And then next scene is like her throwing his clothes like out the window. But we never got the like visuals with Tristan or anything. So we don't even know really when he cheated, how much he cheated. And then we never knew when they were together, when they weren't together. I think he got a lot of grace. So I don't know what he's fucking complaining about because he got so much flack given to him. You know what I mean? Yeah. That is wild. And if I was Courtney, I would be way more upset with the state of things where it's like, let's feel bad for Scott and let's keep him on the show. And let's think about inviting him. No, that's why kudos to Kendall for, in that episode where she was the only one to be like, Scott, my sister over you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we were talking in one of our episodes. I was like, the fact that Courtney, all of the times that Scott did her wrong and she just continued to be so gracious with him, on the show, on camera, in front of everyone, having him be part of the circle. and then even when her and Scott broke up, that she was on vacation with him and whatever girlfriend at the time.
Yeah, Richie.
Yeah. So it's like, she was in that position and she was on vacation with them and being so gracious, and now all of a sudden she's found the love of her life, and it's like come on, guys.
I do think though, and I said this last week, but I do understand. I think he has just a legitimate fear of losing the family because he doesn't have any family of his own.
Yes.
Yeah.
So kind of said I get that part where he's just
the family, his job.
Yeah.
Because listen, if he's not invited to things and he's not in their lives, he can't be on the show.
But I do feel like he's genuinely scared and is clawing to make sure, just in terms of having look, all the other people around him are probably yes men and people he's hired. Let's be real. They have been his family for so long and have been the closest, realest people in his life, probably. So I can understand that legitimate fear of fuck, am I going to get pushed out and not invited to anything? Who am I going to do Christmas with?
Should have been smarter. Should have stopped.
Should have treated people right.
And he would have, she forgave him so many times. And even before she met Travis, and he would be like, I love you. She would be like, do the things that we talked about. And that wasn't even said, but I'm assuming it meant probably not doing drugs, not drinking, not going out. Yeah. So he didn't even take small steps. Right. So I'm team, Courtney totally on this one. It's is Scott charismatic, has his moments where you're like, oh my God. But my husband was watching with me one night and he's like, wow, Scott. He was like, Travis looks so down next to Scott. He was just looking, he doesn't even know or care. But he was just in terms of, he was like, Scott's really good looking and Travis looks kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? I was like, that's kind of true. You don't think about it. You're like, Delia has tattoos all over his face and whatever. Scott is a good looking.
Right.
He's not at his best right now. Something's happening. But
hey, he's having his moment. Okay, guys.
Yeah. I just thought when he was at the strip club during their wedding, I was like, if he's trying to make a statement,
oh God,
I would think probably the statement that would pack a harder punch wouldn't be photos of him at a strip club or him out at a party with a bunch of younger women. I'm like, maybe just a photo of a romantic dinner by the beach. Maybe that would have been a little more of
play setting for another person.
Right.
like watching TV, like, oh, hi. Yeah, we would have been like, oh my God, poor Scott. Someone check on him.
No, I would have, if I were him, I would have staged like an extra place setting, like at a candlelit dinner.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. A romantic dinner. Right. Like, ooh, where am I and who's my new lover? Not like I'm raging.
Did you see what he commented on that girl's post? Like, so disgusting.
What?
Oh, yeah, that was really upsetting.
No, tell guys.
He was dating for a minute. I mean, he's dated like so many girls.
Yeah, not women, girls.
I know. Biddies, I call them. He was dating this girl from Too Hot to Handle, and she posted a pic and she wrote, oh, it was about talentless. She wrote, oh, Lord, she's talentless. And Scott wrote, I can think of a few talents you have right off the top of my head. No pun intended.
Okay.
Ugh.
Wait, do you get it, Becca?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I
head.
get it. No, I get it.
Like
No, I
head.
get it. Like
It took
dick
me-
sucking.
Like the
It took
tip of
me a
his
minute.
penis.
Like she gives him head.
Yeah, it's like cool.
I'm just like, can you write that in a private DM for the love of God?
I mean, he.
But
really,
then again, guys, I'm Scott's PR person over here. Would we say ew gross if Courtney and Travis were commenting that on each other? Because they basically do the same shit every fucking day. Let's be real. They're well, yeah, but I mean, I loved it last night when I was spinning around on your
there's a
dickhead.
difference- but
Like,
there's a
they do
difference.
that kind of shit
He's-
constantly.
But he's got
I mean,
a different.
she said on the show that she drinks his cum.
Ah!
Oh, you guys haven't seen that episode yet. Whoops.
Do you
When
get
does it come
screeners?
out?
You get screeners?
Yeah, because I'm doing the show.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Which is
Wow.
amazing.
Okay, well, great. Thanks for the trigger warning for
Well, no, this will
today's
come
episode.
out after, right?
Yes,
They'll come out
because
the
it's
same day,
airing.
right?
It's airing
Tonight.
tonight, so it'll
Yeah.
be this
Yeah,
will come
so
out.
that's what I said,
Oh my
trigger
God.
Thursday morning.
There is
When I
a
watch.
lot of what
More
you just
sexual
said.
stuff with them? No.
I'm telling you, cum is brought up, feet are brought up, which I've been saying all along that there's a foot thing.
Obviously, there's like a fucking picture with half of her foot in his mouth or something on
but
Instagram.
like I was
Come on.
asking, like, okay, because I don't know what a foot fetish really means. I was wondering if it means just like liking the foot, touching it. I didn't know that it was involved in the sex.
Right.
Yeah,
I think it
but it
depends on the
is.
person's foot fetish.
No, but they were talking about it.
Giving foot jobs.
I don't know. They were just talking about they're doing a cleanse, and they were talking about the fact that they can't have sex, and they were like, no hands or feet either.
Yeah.
So foot fetish is a check
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a check
but
mark.
still trying. If anyone knows, let us know. Like, where does the foot go? How is it involved?
I mean,
Like,
foot
well,
jobs are a thing.
Foot jobs are a thing. Also,
Foot
I'm
jobs
sure
are a thing.
Yeah. Also, you can stick it in between the toes. You know what I mean?
Ew! Or do you think that like feet make him so horny that he could get off from sucking her toes?
Maybe.
Definitely a possibility.
This is a godless nation. Anything is possible.
Damn. I mean, good for them. But Becca, I agree. Like there is, you're right. Which I didn't say like ew because I don't want to picture. Ew also for her, like they're not in a loving relationship. Do you get what I mean? Like he's dated 4 girls after her, and he's saying basically on social media that she gave him blowjobs. Like that's disrespectful.
Then that is a fact right there. 100%. You're like, maybe I didn't want to air that out to everyone. Thank you for making that public.
Soon. So she's about to give another. She doesn't mind. She doesn't mind. Yeah.
I mean, he's not exactly at his best right now, and she's choosing to publicly.
But then he
be
posts like a
associated
cute
with this.
picture with P, and you're like you said, like, oh, but he's so cute with his jewel on his lanyard, like for easy access. He's so cute that he's like with P for 5 minutes.
Oh man. Okay. Anything else Kardashians related? Because I have something else, Amanda, I want to ask you about.
Yeah. No. Let's move on.
Oh my God, let's get into it.
Okay. I want to hear what you think about. We don't have to get deep into it, but what about the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial?
Oh, I am so glad I'm not covering that like to the max because I'm scared.
Did you make like a conscious decision? Like, yeah, I'm not going to cover it step by step.
No,
I mean,
just
granted,
I don't
it's
have time.
Yeah, right.
I don't have fucking time.
I'm not going to have
Thank
3
you.
screens in front of me for 9 hours a day.
Right. I can't be watching it 9 hours a day. And I think that at first when I was picking up bits and pieces, I was told by a lot of people like, well, you're not watching anything. You don't know. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. So maybe I should stop, you know, because I don't have time. What I did do was I brought on a lawyer who does legal commentary on it that a lot of people recommend to listen
Emily
to her.
Baker.
Right. And I thought that she was like the objective one. And then when she came on, she, with the facts, you could tell, even though she's not some bitch being like, Amber Heard's crazy. Like she has, you know, she is studying it. She looked into it. But based on evidence, you could tell that she's, you know, doesn't believe her, but is.
She's got her own set of right. She's got her own set of opinions.
And I was kind of like, oh my God, I thought this was going to be objective, but I don't think there's really a way to be objective because the facts are speaking for themselves kind of situation. But I've been saying from the beginning, and I shared what you said, Becca, and like, I'm sure you got shit for it and whatever, is like, okay, think she's a crazy bitch, think she's lying, have some facts to support that based on, you know, sleuthing for the past and other whatever. But the mass, you know, fucking media suicide or not suicide, murder, like that she's undergoing is insane to me. It's like, how did it become okay from like, oh, let's believe women to let's not only not believe her, let's bury this bitch, let's burn this bitch, let's fucking. So I'm with you totally. Am I seeing the points that are made and like, I get it. Wow, it does seem like she's unwell. And I'm actually, every single person in the industry that, you know, I've spoken to that has interacted with her, seen her, unanimously say
she doesn't have a great reputation.
The worst.
Right.
The worst. Which doesn't mean.
Right.
Which doesn't mean. Do I love Johnny? Can I tell you how fucking obsessed I am with this man? Like, I had a picture of him in my wallet growing up. Like, I watched Blow when I was like 7. Like, I literally obsessed. Like, do I see him in court and I'm like, he's so cute, like smirking at that. You know, like, I get it. But do I think it's fucking crazy that here there's a woman saying all this crazy shit that he did to her, like, and we're just going to ignore it and know and say blindly 100% that we know this is all made up and he never touched her.
My thing too, whether it be clips from her speaking or clips from him speaking, what's been really upsetting to me is just seeing all of like the voiceover TikToks from both, like, you know, again, whether it be her or him, whoever, anyone's like, in my opinion, like mocking what's going on. Like, this is such a serious conversation and it's just like explosive over social media, just making light of something that is so serious has just been, I can't even really wrap my mind around it.
But I think at the end of the day that people aren't getting is this isn't a case of like, wait, so at the end, the jury needs to decide who assaulted who. At the end, the jury needs to decide if there's a case for defamation.
Which, by the way, so Gray's dad he's been like a writer in the industry for a really long time. Like, you know, he was roommates with Woody, who's the good? Not Woody Allen. Woody
Harrelson.
The good one. Yeah. Not Woody Allen. I was like, oh God. It's like roommates with Woody Harrelson. It's like best friends. Like he's like heavily involved like in the industry. And he was like, Johnny Depp was uninsurable. Like he was a liability like on set. Like there is definitely like a case to be made that he did partially shoot his own career in the foot because of the reputation that he was getting like on set for, you know, all these issues. Anyway, so point being what you're saying, I mean, who knows if that's true, but exactly what you're saying. Like this is at the end of the day, a defamation lawsuit about because of her, is that why he lost these opportunities? That is literally what this lawsuit is about.
And then her countersued for $100 million.
Right, because she lost that because of his defamatory statements or his attorneys.
Right. So I think Emily Baker, the lawyer that I had on, I think she's leaning towards both of them losing, which will be wild.
That makes sense.
It was all televised. Like, and by the way, she also, I think the most interesting things to me to know were that he fought to have it on TV. She didn't want to, she lost. Obviously this is not going well for her. Like, optics wise.
No.
But again, at the end of the day, this is the jury sitting in a room for whatever amount of time going through this stuff and like looking at the defamation clauses and looking And like, if whatever was said in court hits those like marks, that it has to be like all of the things, you know what I mean? This isn't just like who's lying, who's this. It's like, you know, but there are a lot of things that she did shoot herself in the foot, and there's so many contradictory things. And another important thing is like the 50 million and 100 million are just like numbers, by the way, which I thought was so
pulled out of thin air, the money they lost. I know. I was watching the other day when her former agent or whatever agent was testifying, like, she was on her way on her track to be like a Jason Momoa or like, you know, an Ana de Armas, and she could have lost like 100 million. And I'm like, well, no,
but also when the jury decides, let's say they decide for him, it's not like he's going to get a check for 50 mil. Right. Like the jury's going to have to decide how much he's owed.
Right.
I wish I had time to watch it all day, honestly, because even the clips that I see, you know, it's just so interesting. The body language, today I saw a clip of him and all the shit they get asked about. Like the lawyer was asking him today, like if he's ever done 8 pills of MDMA. And he was like, 8 pills. 8 pills. Like, and literally like 20 minutes of that, like him trying to think how much, I don't know where they were leading with it, but he's like, I don't think I did that much ecstasy, you know. And it's just like all these like pieces of information that you're like, where's this going? Like what's happening? And then she's like smirking, taking notes, and you're like, what is this? I want to know what they're doing in Fairfax. By the way, I asked Emily Baker that too. Like, there's a reason why the trial is there. I feel like everyone just accepted it. Yeah, right. And it was like, oh, okay, it makes sense. They were scheduled in Virginia. Right. But there are like reasons. And I think it had to do with Johnny fighting for it to be there because certain laws there. There's like a whole, so I think she got kind of fucked. Like she didn't want to be in Virginia. So I think she's also angry about that. But I would want to know, like, what are they doing after hours? Are they going to dinners? Like, what are they? They're living there now for the past, 3 weeks? 4 weeks? How long has this been going on?
I don't know, a long ass time.
What are we going to do when it ends?
Hopefully it's stop is what everyone will do when it ends. Please stop. No, my thing was too, like, I'm at the point where I totally agree with you. I'm like, she's not the most credible person. There's a lot of shit going on here. I don't think there's anything wrong with going like, I don't know if I buy everything that she's saying. Fine. I'm not going to say that you have to believe her on everything. There, like you said, there's a lot of contradictions and all of that. My thing is just, how about we don't choose to punish this person and burn them at the stake and humiliate them? Like, did you guys see Lance Bass's TikTok where he's like pretending to fall on the ground? Like, she says some testimony and then he's like pretending, and of course it went viral on TikTok because anything making fun of Amber Heard right now is going viral on TikTok. It's like the craziest thing.
I can't believe that it's okay. Like, wouldn't you think that in a parallel universe, like if we were living our lives normally, would you ever think that it's okay to make fun of a woman or a man saying that they were abused?
No, that's not
in a
funny.
world that we were like, I remember her. Like, could you imagine a world in which I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone? Like at the beginning when I was saying these things, I was like, I was shocked that I was getting anything.
Yeah.
Other than like, I was shocked that people were like, how are you going to believe her? She's this, I'm like, you guys are crazy.
Well, that's the thing.
But then everyone is leaning in. They're like, oh, it's fine to make fun of her.
No, and then that's the thing. And if you, by the way, say like, hey guys, let's not do that, then you're being accused of defending someone who's an abuser. I'm like, in what world am I defending any of her behavior? I'm literally just saying, even if she is a piece of shit, like you guys are saying, maybe we don't have to like mock and humiliate her on the internet, because regardless whether or not she is lying, I do still think it sends a message to people who are survivors, because especially if you have a bad reputation. I know plenty of people who don't have the most squeaky clean background or reputation, and it must be scary as fuck to think about, like, you know, going after someone who seriously abused them, knowing that all of your shit is going to get aired out and that the court of public opinion has the right to absolutely skewer and mock you and stalk you and all these fucking crazy things. Like
if I didn't, like, I feel bad for her now, kind of regardless. You know what I mean? It's like totally. At the end of the day, whoever wins this, if she did abuse, like, she the public hates her. Like, no one's going to want to work with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who's going to want to take her for a movie now? It's like people won't watch. You're in it. Like, I just feel like her career is totally, not that she was like Ana de Armas before, but, and they obviously had such a mutually kind of toxic relationship.
There's a lot going on there.
Like, it's not like he was like going to his 9 to 5. Like, he's literally a drug addict.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Well, not to mention, even regardless of like her professional career, I just think like how scary would it be to take your infant child out in public? Like you're going to be, if I was her, I'd be hiding out in my house for like a year after this. It's scary.
I know.
That's like, anyway, that's that. Yeah. Anyway, people are just like, guys, can we just not? And
let's see what, I wonder, and if he gets his career back, it's going to be interesting to see, you know?
But that one agent testified too the other day. They were like, I don't think that this court case is going to do wonders for his career. No, regardless of whether or not he looks good, people don't really want to be mixed up in them anytime soon after this. It's not a great look.
No, but he kind of like garnered a whole new fan base from this. He's like the Beatles in it. Like people like wait outside and like, it's wild.
I also just want to throw out there, and again, I do not know their relationship is. I'm leaning into it. There seems to be a lot showing that she was oftentimes the aggressor. But it also, just throwing it out there, it wouldn't be the first time that someone who was abusive looked super calm, cool, and collected, and the person who was victim looks like a crazy, frazzled, all over the place bitch. It wouldn't be the first time we saw that. Just throwing it out there that, you know, you guys need to pause and consider. Like,
I know. Kate also testified today.
I know, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Is there anything there?
I think she's just, they were saying that he threw her down the stairs. She's saying that he didn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway, any other fun pop culture news aside from all that? Aside from that, anything else going on? What is wetted your whistle lately? Anything?
No, I feel like not really, right? I mean, the wedding like took over the world.
It's been Amber and Johnny and Courtney and Travis.
Yeah.
That has been that's been it for about the past month and a half.
And whatever is happening, you know, around that, like Pete Davidson.
Did you see Bachelor World? Becca Tilley came out with her relationship with Haley Kiyoko finally.
Yes. I was so happy for them. It's been what they said 4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
So happy. I know Becca Tilley like from Ben Higgins season, but I'm not like, you know, haven't been following her since then. And Haley, I didn't know anything. I just knew all of a sudden I heard all this chatter, like there's going to be a music video. And I was like, oh. And then I saw it in her video, like, oh my God, I still have it in my head. Like,
oh no, I was
the reel that she made. I'm like, how cute.
Just all the tears. Yeah. And it was, I know on her podcast for the past few years, she would always refer to the person that she was seeing. She called Haley 95P, and it was 95% that she would marry this person.
Aww.
And that was then the nickname. I know, right? That was the nickname that she gave to Haley because she wasn't ever revealing anything about Haley. And I think would just
she wouldn't do pronouns either.
They, them like, pronouns, maybe, I think. But yeah, I mean, especially this, I'm so happy that they've received so much support because I can't imagine, you know, especially with Becca Tilley being from Bachelor Nation, which, you know, we saw what happened when Demi went on the beach in Bachelor in Paradise and talked about being bisexual, like all the backlash that she got. So I'm sure coming out in this space was really scary.
I'm sure there's a lot of family stuff too. I think that like Becca Tilley comes from a kind of a
no, but both her sisters are with women.
Both her sisters, yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know.
Sorry, guys.
I don't know
if
that means that the family is super accepting. I actually don't know. Or if maybe she was a little scared because maybe it's like the third sister and she was worried. But I'm sure it's also the fan base. Even though with Demi, I feel like people were upset also because of other stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure, of course.
Like the fact that you came on the beach, had a girlfriend. Like, why'd you come?
Right.
But
no, I just remember seeing
Bachelor in Paradise.
But I just remember seeing
watch. I probably will watch Paradise.
Not Paradise. Are we going to watch the two Bachelorettes?
I probably won't be able to help myself.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's historical.
Kind
it's
of
historical.
Yeah, but in a
it is the
good
whole
way.
time,
No,
yeah.
it is because we had
right.
Britt and Caitlyn the first time, but then the men got to choose who was going to be
and
the
then there was
Bachelorette.
Tasha and Claire, of course.
But then that was the switch off. But never have we had.
Did you take off what's his name?
Clayton.
Season? You took off?
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to recap in the same capacity, but probably won't
But
be
like,
able to help
are
her
we
watch.
going to be, so how are we going to watch? Like, we don't know them. We don't know the girls that well.
I watched the last couple episodes
So
of
did
Clayton's
I.
season.
Yes.
I did too. I watched
So we all did.
Yeah. Well, but like, we didn't watch, but we like kind of watched. No, but I watched. Are they still together, Clayton and Susie?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They are still together. Against all the odds, they are still together.
Yeah.
No, but I'm so
I
happy
watched.
for Becca. I was so excited.
Sorry, what'd you say? Oh,
She's just so happy for Becca.
Oh no, I'm so happy for Becca and Haley. And yeah, I mean, but personally, there's no way that I'm not going to watch the two Bachelorettes. I mean, the curiosity, it's just going to be itching.
I know. But there's something not quite vibing for me lately, but I'm hanging on because I need to know, like, how would I know Becca Tilly, if I didn't watch? How would I know this beautiful story? I wouldn't. You got to be in the know. You got to watch to be in the know.
That's the thing about it.
Well, we'll see how that all goes down. But anyway, Amanda, not skinny but not
so
fat.
much.
Thank you for being with us.
Oh my God, of course. Thank you for having me.
So wonderful.
Plug your stuff, where people can follow you, listen to you, etc.
Plug your stuff. Yeah. Plug your stuff and get out of here. Not Skinny But Not Fat, available on Instagram and my podcast of the same name.
And you've got your stuff.
Yes.
Oh, and I host Cards Catch Up on E's YouTube. Comes out every Thursday. We recap the Kardashians and other stuff that went on that week with the family. And my episode with Chloe is out now.
Yes, and it's so good. Make sure to check it out, broads.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Broads.
joining us.
And thank you guys. It was so nice. So fun.
Yes.
All right, broads. Chat soon.